Hey team, Coach Alexa here. So to wrap up the first part of my video series, the 5 pillars of health, specifically started by focusing on nutrition, I just wanted to talk about, I guess, some of the stuff that's talked about online, so on social media, on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You can find somebody talking about literally any opinion related to the topic of what we eat in nutrition, as if it were absolute truth and fact. And so you can find literally any opinion, massively conflicting opinions, all being presented as truth. So I wanted to talk through maybe a couple of things to look out for in terms of picking these things apart. So the one of which I guess is just the way the internet and its algorithms seems to work these days is that sort of clickbaity, attention-grabbing nature of the headline or the sort of first still of the video. The thing that makes you go, oh my goodness, kind of provokes real sort of interest or provokes a bit of a sense of kind of outrage or something that makes us engage with stuff more. And people do that by making these kind of slightly sort of outrageous claims about this supplement's going to cure everything, and this thing's going to make you run 5 minutes faster over your half marathon, or whatever it might be. So if there are any of these kind of seems a little bit too easy to be true, it probably is, or really like in your face shouty claims, then often that's a reason to just raise a quizzical eyebrow and maybe not take everything that they say with 100% degree of truth. Another one is to look at, the qualifications of the person who's talking about it. So here in the UK, dietitian is the only sort of, I guess, legally protected term for people who are medically trained in order to be able to give people really specific sort of meal plans and dietary advice. There are a lot of other sort of nutrition type qualifications out there, but it's not a particularly well regulated field here in the UK at least. So I have a nutrition advice qualification, which allows me to give nutrition advice for people more specifically working on their fitness or for health reasons. So weight loss, for example. Nutritionist is a term that is misused almost, possibly too strong a word, but you can call yourself a nutritionist with a massively varied qualification, from not having done much at all to having studied quite a lot. And there are people out there calling themselves nutritionists or whatever with no qualifications at all. So it's always worth doing some digging into working out what the actual qualifications of the person giving the advice is, and also who is paying them money. Are they sponsored by people? Are they are they paid to promote certain companies' products? And with the companies themselves, where's the money, basically? Where's the skin in the game? Because as soon as there's money involved, that you're not going to get unbiased advice on things. Having a look at some of the claims made by companies, this can be difficult to unpick because they can look like they have science backing them up. The slight problem with that is what companies tend to do is only publish any papers that actually show that their product has a result. Often they're quite small numbers of people in that study, so not what they call statistically significant. It could just be a kind of a bit random because they only used a small number of people. So if one more person than usual responded well to that product, then it will look like it had a significant benefit, or they might not have carried out the studies in quite the right way. And companies, if they do commission studies that don't give great results, have a tendency just to never publish them. So you never see the potential downsides or lack of results. So have a little bit of a nosy, be suspicious about those really clickbaity headlines, double check people's qualifications and cross check what they're saying, because anyone can put a video up about anything on the internet these days and portray it as truth. And that doesn't mean it is. It might be, but it doesn't mean it is, says the woman putting a video on the internet. So yeah, using that and maybe digging a little bit into whatever research it is that they've put forward. Often you'll find that that company paid for it. It wasn't a very big sample size. It might have not even been done double blind, which means it included a placebo. So the effects that it had could purely have been the placebo effect. Anyway, a few things to think about there. But generally speaking, there's a lot talking about, carbs are evil, protein is amazing, fat is dreadful, this is the best supplement that will, change your training forever, or, give you more energy or whatever. But actually, it's a lot more boring than that, I'm afraid to say, in that our body needs carbohydrates and fats and proteins in order to exist and function. We also need a mix of different vitamins and minerals in order to function. And our bodies are pretty well adapted to eating them from a natural food-based diet, because that's what we've been doing, let's be honest, for, tens of thousands of years. So our body's good at getting that from real food. So on that note, I'll leave it there.